Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. And today we're talking about The Fighter. Let me just take a moment and talk about Mark Wahlberg for a second. This is a man, listen, if there's a movie and it takes place in Boston, anywhere in Boston, Mark Wahlberg is qualified for the job. He can play a crackhead, he can play a cop, he can play a dirty cop, he can play a street thug, he can play a charming guy. He can do all of this and equally be excellent in every single role. It's amazing. Ever since I remember seeing him in this movie called Fear. And this was an old movie that I saw him in with Reese Witherspoon. When I saw him in Fear and the intensity that he had in that movie, I knew that that man had talent as an actor. No more Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch for him. Acting was the way to go. At any rate, so Mark Wahlberg stars in this film, and it's actually based on a true story, which again caught my attention. Anything based on a true story, set place in Boston, small town, Mark Wahlberg's in it, there's a crackhead, there's police officers, there's fighting. Oh, I'm in. I'm all in. Anyway, so Mark Wahlberg stars in this film, and of course, he has his co-stars alongside him, but he is undoubtedly the star of the show. Now, this is about boxing. Now, his older brother, which is played by Christian Bale, who does a fantastic job. Christian Bale is one of those actors who is I feel like he's another one that he does such a phenomenal job. And I don't follow him enough to know how much credit he's been given over the years, but he definitely deserves credit for a lot of the roles I've seen him in, and namely this one. He played a crackhead who is like a has-been washed-up boxer who is like a local hero still because they live in like this small town where people really don't know much else, outside of the town. So it's like a really small town, and to them, he's the best thing that ever came through there. So he still holds this status, even though he's older now, like in his 40s, and he's a total crackhead. But the town still reveres him as this great superhero because he fought Sugar Ray Leonard at one time. It's really a good show. Good movie. Sorry, not a show, movie. It's a good movie, and it's also a touching movie because you have to deal with. It's gonna pull on your heartstrings because you have Mark Wahlberg's character, which he plays Mickey. The brother's Dickie, and he's Mickey. And Mark Wahlberg's character is just this guy he's tough, but he has like a soft heart. So it's kind of like he's this tough fighter, but he has like a heart of gold. And then you have his brother who is just nonchalant. He's a crackhead. He's more narcissistic. It's just really like, even though he has hit rock bottom, he's like lost his teeth. He's cracked out. He still holds his head super high. He has more confidence than anyone you've ever met. And it's like, you're looking at him like, wow, this is crazy. And then you have Mark Wahlberg's character who doesn't really have that confidence, at all, and he actually is a great fighter. But because of his, him not being as confident as his brother, that kind of gets in his way because he keeps second guessing himself in a way. And then he also has to deal with this family. His mom is kind of like borderline shady too, and his family doesn't really have his best interests at heart. He has like eight siblings, so he comes from this huge family. And I don't want to say the area where it takes place, it seems like it's like a poor, like a lower class, like more poverty, like stricken, like kind of area. But at the same time, I was thinking perhaps a lot of that is because I know they kind of focus on the brother, and the brother, he was always staying in those areas because he was on crack, and he was mostly at like a crack house. But the family, the way they portrayed it was kind of like they were like a little bit poor, not like maybe, lower middle class, because I noticed that the father, he owned like a roofing business, so they had to have some type of money. So the father owned a roofing business, and the mom was like Mark Wahlberg's manager. And Mark Wahlberg, he was a fighter in the movie, and he makes pretty good money, fighting, but not enough to really do anything with himself, like build money or build anything where he can get a nice place to live or he can take care of his child. So he wants to branch out and do something bigger because he's fighting, he's getting himself all banged up, but he's not really getting anything out of it. So while trying to get out of this small town and, do something bigger, he gets offered an opportunity to go to Las Vegas. He gets these opportunities, but he's one of those people who is so attached to his family, his like deadbeat family, and he keeps letting them drag him down. And it's like you just want to reach in there and shake him because he has such a big heart, and his family is obviously, I don't even want to say, I think his family, this is an example of they're just doing the best they can with what they have to work with, kind of thing. So although on the outside looking in, it looks like they don't want the best for him, they don't have his best interest at heart. It's almost like in their hearts, they do, and they are doing the best they can, based on their background and, what they have to offer. So it's kind of like, you have to watch the whole movie to kind of see where I'm going with this, but it's kind of like a big, like, he's like stuck between a rock and a hard place, if you will. Ultimately, he does end up meeting someone, and he meets this girl, and she's just kind of like, what, like he has a person on the outside looking in, and she kind of like tells him, like from her point of view, like what's going on, and he kind of wakes up a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's still like that family thing. Blood is thicker than water. And you just see him go through this roller coaster. You watch him. His brother was his hero his whole life. His brother was a lot older than him. I think the brother was like maybe like 8 or 10 years older than him. And he was like his hero his whole life. And then his brother just fell down this whole dark hole of being a crackhead. So that like changed everything for him. And it's like, even with that, his brother was still the person that he had to look up to. So it's just, oh, you guys, it's just such a great movie. You have to watch it. I don't want to do any more spoilers, but I highly recommend this movie. At the end, you will get a little bit, it touches your heartstrings a little bit. I will say this is kind of an emotional movie. To me, anytime you're dealing with someone with addiction, family, and, things like that, and, when the police get involved and there's like, the family gets kind of torn apart and, things like that. Anytime you're dealing with things like that, high emotional things like that, it is kind of tugs on your heart. It kind of tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. But that aside, it's really a great movie about the underdog. So to sum it all up, I would classify this movie as a great movie of how no matter what in life, you got to keep fighting, keep trying. That's what I got out of it. Even if you're the underdog, no matter what, just if you have a dream and if it's something that you're passionate about, just keep going, keep going. Don't let anything or anyone get in your way of following your dreams and fighting, for what you want, whatever it may be. As long as it's not, something that's going to harm you, of course. But as long as it's something that is your passion, your dream, and something that's going to better you, always fight for it and always just keep going until you get where you want to get. It may take some time, and I love that it showed that too in this movie. It showed that everybody doesn't just come out the bat and just start and win. It takes some people years to get where they want to be, but once you get there, it's like you look back and it's like it was all worth it. So you just have to work hard, and perhaps one day you will be able to get where you want to get in life, or whatever you're striving for, whether it's a goal, whether it's the perfect job, or whatever, weight loss, anything, whatever it is you're trying to fight for, or whatever goal you're trying to reach. It can be very hard, and most things that are worth having are hard to get. That's just life. But once you get it, the hard work will all have been worth it. I'm going to wrap this video up now. Go watch The Fighter. Where did I see The Fighter at? I believe it was on HBO Max. I'm pretty sure it was on HBO Max that I watched it. Or, you know what? I take that back. It was on Hulu. I saw it on Hulu, actually. So, yeah, it's on Hulu. and it's called The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg. I think it's also on Epix if you have that channel. So it's on Epix as well. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.